today we're going to be reacting to Zack D Films. And if you guys don't know who Zack D Films is, then you probably live under a rock. But anyways, before we start, I just have one thing to say, alright? Can you guys just check it to see if you're subscribed to the channel or not? Because we're so close to 215 subscribers, it's insane. So please hit that subscribe button. But anyways, I don't want to do too much time. Let's try and get started. Alright, here we go.
After delivering the baby, he carved his initials in her skin with a scalpel. And even though the nurses saw, they didn't tell the patient. When she got home, she felt excruciating pain.
Oh, no.
And when she looked in the mirror, she was horrified at what she saw. The cuts left permanent scars, meaning she needed extensive plastic surgery. She sued the doctor for almost $2 million. And even though he lost his medical license, he never went to prison for his crime.
He never went to prison for putting his initials on someone that just gave birth to a baby? Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Well, guess what? You learn something new every day.
As the heavy ball rolled over them, the landmines would explode. It would be built from nearly 200 bamboo arms with large plates on the ends. A tracker in the center would guide it across minefields, and its weight would detonate the mines buried underground. It could handle the force of several explosions before it needed to return for repairs. This ball could replace those who risk their lives doing this job.
That's crazy. A weirdly shaped ball. Ayo. But yeah, that could make landmines explode, and the people had to repair it, and that also cost them their lives. That's crazy, bro.
He opened the package and pulled out a sleek-looking headset with no branding, only a QR code. He scanned it, downloaded the game, and hit launch. He hesitated for a moment, but decided to put on the headset. Immediate bright flashes filled his vision, a loud, deafening tone, then everything went black. He woke up on his floor, dying of thirst and hopelessly confused. His phone buzzed and he picked it up. 55 missed calls, hundreds of texts. He looked at the date. 2 days had gone by. He scrolled through the messages. Please turn yourself in. How could you? Why? His mom's message read, I still love you, but you have to go to the cops. One message included a video link. He clicked it. It was him, lighting a house on fire. He was committing multiple terrible crimes. But when he turned to get the headset, it was gone, along with his computer. Sirens approached. Red and blue flooded his room. Heart beating out of his chest. His eyes caught the back door, and he decided to run.
That is the craziest thing I ever heard.
To the size of a tiger, you might think it would be cute, but it would weigh over 600 pounds, and unlike a wild animal, it wouldn't be afraid of you. A single pounce would be enough to shatter your ribcage, and a gentle bite would crush your bones.
Bro, I don't know how many of these I can watch anymore, bro. Sorry about that. My headphones just fell off. Okay.
As it played, it would bat your head like a toy, breaking your neck. And when it got tired, it could curl up on your chest, slowly choking you to death.
I don't know if I could watch any more of these videos, bro. Alright, but I'm gonna do it for you guys because I love you too much.
If you pulled out your femur and got a splinter from it, would your body reject it like a normal splinter? Well, the bone is made up of your cells, meaning your immune system wouldn't see it as a foreign object. Instead, it would become part of your finger as your skin grew around it. And if it was really small, your body would start to break down the bone cells. These would be absorbed into your blood, meaning the splinter would totally disappear.
That is the craziest thing I've ever seen and heard. I know I've said that so many times, but it really is.
The whale swallowed the man and his kayak whole. Before he could react, he was inside the whale's mouth, surrounded by darkness and thick, slimy rows of teeth. For a few terrifying moments, its massive jaws closed, trapping him inside. Then, just as suddenly, the whale spit him back out, and the man swam away completely unharmed.
Okay, it's good that he was unharmed, but if he was, it's done. It's done. Basically done.
If they tripped on the wire, it would set off a hidden gun in the graveyard. You see, grave robbers would dig up corpses at night, selling them to medical students for research. To stop them, these guns were set up at the foot of the graves, and 3 trip wires were attached, fanning out in every direction. If the robbers set one off, the gun would swivel to face him, shooting him down before he could steal the corpse.
Wow. Luckily, they won't die. They'll just lose a leg, and then they're going to have to wear a robot leg now.
He was swimming in a lazy river when a piece of his goggles fell through a grate. They lifted it up and the boy swam down, but his legs slipped into the drain, and no amount of struggling could free it. Adults desperately tried to save him as he lost consciousness, but it took over 9 minutes to yank him loose. He had stopped breathing when he was rushed to the hospital, but after 11 days, he finally recovered.
Okay, nice. That's good that he recovered.
Thousands of leaflets dropped from the sky, telling him that World War II was over. But he thought it was a trick from the enemy meant to lure him out. So he stayed hidden in the jungle, living off coconuts and stolen rice. He watched planes fly overhead and thought Japan was still fighting, not realizing it was for a completely different war. Finally, 30 years later, his commander showed up and ordered him to stand down. The man saluted, handed over his rifle, and finally left the war that had ended 30 years prior.
Wow. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Onto the tracks and was cut in half by an oncoming train, and those who...
Bro, I don't know if I could see any more cruel things in this video. Oh my gosh.
who hear the story of her death are soon haunted by her spirit. The ghost has no lower body, and she moves by dragging herself with her hands. As she does, her bones make a clicking noise, giving her the name Tek Tek. If she finds you walking alone at night, she'll chase you down with supernatural speed. And if she catches you, legend says she'll slice you in half, leaving you legless just like her.
I don't know if I can watch any more of these videos anymore. Alright, let's go to the next clip.
His truck veered off the road and into a steep ravine before landing in a creek. Now, somehow the man survived, but he was severely injured and only managed to crawl 100 yards from the wreck. As night fell, he collapsed, exhausted, with only his dogs for company. But one of them left him, running 4 miles back to his family. It barked frantically to warn them that something was wrong. And the next morning, they finally found him. Rescuers pulled him to safety and he survived, all thanks to his loyal dog.
Oh, nice. That's crazy. Like dogs are like basically like everybody's friend. Like there's no way that a dog could betray you, right? Or maybe not. Maybe there is and I just haven't seen it before. I don't know.
As they pulled up to the haunted lighthouse, his friend told him that anyone who went up never came back down. No bodies, no answers, just gone forever. He warned his friend not to go, but curiosity got the better of him. He told him he would call from the top to prove he was okay. Phone in hand, he stepped through the door and disappeared up the stairs. The climb was long, but at the top there was nothing really. Just a quiet room and an ocean view. Not scary at all. He pulled out his phone, but there was no service. And that's when he noticed it. A small room off to the side. In it was an old rotary phone, still connected. He picked it up and called his friend, and let him know he was speaking from an old phone he found in this cool room. The friend froze. There was no phone or room in this lighthouse. He circled the base, looked up, and saw him standing on an old rotting plank, holding his cell phone. A gust of wind came hard off the sea. The call cut out, and only the lighthouse remained.
That is so dumb. Like, why would you do that?
On their heads, thick smoke rises, clouding the air as they walk through the trees. Now, this smoke confuses the insects, forcing them out of hiding. Then the hunters snatch the bugs up with their bare hands. Each insect is quickly tossed onto the smoldering fire bundle on their heads. Then the roasted bug is taken out and eaten.
What? People back in the day before I was even born, obviously, people were eating bugs? Ew.
The bear charged at the woman in her backyard, ready to attack. But right before it struck, her wiener dog barked and lunged at the bear, forcing it to stop. The bear swiped at the dog, slicing into its skin, but it didn't back down, and the distraction gave the woman enough time to defend herself. The dog chased the bear off, barking until it disappeared into the woods.
Dog, bro. Like I said, dogs can never betray you. Like, that's crazy. This Harrison Ford one. Huh? One sec, guys.
One eternity later.
Alright, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to help my brother. I had to wake my brother up so that he can wake up because he usually likes sleeping. But anyways, let's continue the video. Alright.
He used his belt buckle to reflect sunlight towards the pilots to get their attention. You see, he had been lost in the woods for hours when it started to rain. He found shelter in a cave and spent the night there alone. The next morning, he heard helicopters flying above him. He was finally able to get their attention. The helicopter landed, the door swung open, and out stepped Harrison Ford.
Okay. And that was I don't know what's happened. Okay.
She had to shave her hairy nose every few days just to look normal. You see, she was attacked by a dog, which bit off a chunk of her face. To fix the
Bro, I don't know how many of these I can watch. Also, guys, excuse the foot there. My grandpa is sleeping here. I think he's a little bit tired. Say hello. Yeah, he's just a little bit tired right now. He needs to take a little nap, so just excuse that, okay? Why did the dog cut it off? Like, dogs, they are nice.
damage,
But,
doctors pulled down a piece of her forehead, using it to replace the missing flesh. But the new skin included part of her scalp, and the hair follicles were transplanted with it. Once it healed, they started to grow, giving her a hairy nose. But eventually, she actually grew to like it.
it's actually nice to get something, and then the first few days you won't like it, but then after that you'll love it.
in virtual reality, but the game didn't map his apartment properly, and as he played, he tripped on a glass table. He landed hard, which shattered it instantly, and dozens of glass shards sliced into his body. With no one there to help, he bled out quickly, and by the time he was found, he had died in both realities.
That might be the cruelest thing I have ever heard. Wow.
They pulled out the bear's teeth and ripped out its claws to make it a fair fight, and they even cut tendons in its arm to stop it from grabbing its opponents. You see, these bears were used in live wrestling matches, which were held in bars in the 90s. People would fight the trained bears, and if they won, they could claim a cash prize. Some people would even cheat by getting the animals drunk before the match. But the bears were...
They're giving bears alcohol? What? They said that they're getting bears drunk.
Still far stronger, easily pinning the wrestlers to the ground. The antlers hooked into his belt and took off running, dragging the emperor behind him. He slammed into rocks and trees, breaking bones and suffering internal injuries. His guards struggled to keep up as the stag continued to run over the rough terrain. After 16 miles, a servant was able to catch up and cut the belt with a knife. Finally freed, the emperor accused the servant of trying to murder him and ordered for his execution. But the emperor's injuries were too severe, and he died shortly after.
I think that'll be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and